haven't got that heat. What's up, fam? My name is Ruby V, host of the Kingship Podcast. Massive shout out to you for checking out this episode and any other episodes of the Kingship Podcast. Before we get into it, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment if you have checked out anything on this YouTube channel, get on there and show me some love, and also spread it around, share it with your homies, your friends, and everybody close to you that you think would actually benefit or would love these conversations. Now, today's episode of the podcast, I'm hosting somebody that I have been planning to host for the longest time ever. Like, since I got into the game, we've been talking about this interview, and then finally it's happening, and I'm so glad to even have it on video. And I'm talking about the one and only X to the T, Xtatic.
What's happening? What's happening?
Like, finally. Hey, it's been a minute.
Hey,
how
like
you
a
doing?
penny.
Man, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm always preoccupied with responsibilities,
Yeah.
but I'm Gucci.
Such is life. Now let's talk music, before we get into anything else. You told me that you're working on the debut.
Yeah.
Finally, how's that going?
It's going good. It's my debut album, like, as indie.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had like an album, like a serious project, and that's the one thing that I don't think people get a lot. Like, you know what, Xtatic has never had like a serious album that she's working on, but this is, something that I wanted, to work on.
Yeah.
But I guess somehow I feel like the time was telling me, you're not ready yet. Okay, now you're ready. Yeah, and then I got a couple of beats from Basma.
Shout out.
I know, and he just really defined what I was looking for, especially for a debut album.
Okay.
Dope. When somebody comes and goes like, this is exactly how it should sound. Like, he just came with a flavor. And so possibly half my album or 3/4 my album may just be Basma.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Fire, man. Shout out to Bass, man.
Ooh.
So you were talking about not being ready before, but now you feel like you're ready.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the ex who wasn't ready and the ex who's now ready to give us a project?
I feel like it's more content, it's more who I am, figuring myself out and what I want to do. And that got figured out during like all this period that I've had to wait. I figured out myself and what I want to do, the direction I want to take, because I've always wanted albums that just sound like that's your identity. And I'm glad that I really experimented with the EP, and I experimented with the mixtape as well, which kind of gave me direction of what I do want. So from that I was able to pick out, this sounds good and this would be good if it was in like an album form.
That's dope.
Like a huge
and
project.
and I also feel like I don't know, I feel like Kenyans don't understand like mixtape, EP, album. Like everything is an album as long as it's been put together in a collection. It's like, the X has 6 albums or 7 albums already. It's like, nah, man.
Yeah.
Get the facts right. Recently just turned, you got into your 30s, right?
Woo, 30!
Everybody says 30 is where it's at.
Yeah.
How I know it's only been a couple months, like maybe 1 month, right?
Yeah.
But I know this is something that you were looking forward to, right?
Was I really?
Yeah, tell me, because there were plans, like I was gonna do a whole little vacay. I was just like,
oh, damn. Like, there was plans and then there was reality. Yeah, so I guess I was more, I don't know why I was afraid, but I feel like women, we have this thing where we're afraid of aging because of how society has structured things. So because, and it comes with a lot of insecurities, like, oh, achievements, oh, I'm aging, oh, my body's changing, oh, whatever. You know, like all of those things like kind of affect us to a point and I guess that's the reason why women lie about their age.
Yeah.
And, you know, even for a while, I think I was minusing. I used to minus 1 year from my age until I was just like, you just really need to get comfortable with your age.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, it's just an age. Like, you know, you're afraid of what somebody thinks or how somebody looks at this age, you know, and all that. So what, you know, like it doesn't benefit. So me being more comfortable with my age and, you know, just being older, it's just made me more comfortable with myself and where I'm at, you know, with life. And yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yo, that like age gives me pressure, but I feel like, you know, it got to a point where I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna get older.
We have survived, like our parents survived, and a lot of people survived, so we'll survive. Yeah.
We sure will. Talk to me about your experience as a woman in the game, because you got into the game very, very young. I think you were still a teenager. How old was that?
I was 19, 20.
Damn.
Yeah. Actually, in the game, like my first song, which was like recording, I started recording at 16. 16, 17, around there. And then we got into MC Africa. By then I was still recording, but I never had anything out. When I was like 17, 18, yeah. And then my first single, I guess, which was just me, was called, was it Venom, I think, and it was in 2010, and I was around 19. Yeah, 19, 20, and then I got signed at 2021.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something that everybody talks about, I think, to date. Like the signing, Sony, in South Africa, it's the thing. And then, you know, everybody got questions. I think we also had this discussion like a while back when I blogged about it because everyone was just asking, what's happening with X after Sony? Talk to me first before we even get into like getting out of Sony and them releasing your music, you know, without, I think yesterday I was on YouTube and I saw another page with your name on it, with like songs in it. So tell me, getting signed by Sony, like who was responsible over here? Who made that deal happen?
Actually, I don't know. Like it was just me. I just released a song and I got a call. So I've never known how, it was you, no.
Okay.
It was more of, we released a song, and that was like my first ever song that I shot a video for. A song that I actually pushed, or we had people trying to push it, or not people, but it was like 2-3, like me and 2-3 friends. Like, this is how we're gonna do it, like, let's just push it. And then, kidogo, we just saw I'm trying to remember his name. Like a lot of people were tweeting about it, and a lot of like big people. You know, like it was just really impressive, I guess, to a lot of people. Then it was weeks later, literally. I got 2 weeks actually. I got a call on my birthday, so I thought it was a prank, and it was just like, oh yeah, Sony Music trying to sign you. This is, I think, Seven, Moshe from Rockstar. They had like a collaboration of some sort with Sony. So she called me and I thought it was a prank. It was like, yo, you're actually getting signed. Like, that is so unreal.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it didn't set in until like the documents and a lot of things like
the flights.
And got sent to me. That's when I was just like, oh, Sony.
Happening.
Like, yeah.
At 20 years old, you're getting this major deal. What is going through your head? What are you thinking?
Oh man, what am I thinking? Money.
Ka-ching!
That's where the money resides. So like that's exactly what I was thinking. I was just thinking, oh my goodness, it's a platform. I could see myself on like different stages. You know, like when you're a kid, there's just touring. Like that's what I saw. And of course, advance, you know, I thought, that's what I thought, but you know, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, okay. Then we're gonna go with the tours. But I think a lot of people read the multi-album deal to multi-million deal. Like, so many people thought that I was given a multi-million. I was like, no, it was a multi-album deal. Yeah.
How did things, okay, so your experience at Sony, before we even get into things going left, right? how was it? Like the recording sessions, the flights back and forth. Like you're just literally a teenager. You might be 20, but the brain is you're still a kid, right?
Yeah.
And you're here. It's your first like video. You're getting signed. You're getting calls. You're getting popular. So you get to South Africa, and then what happens?
We start, they had like a basement. I don't know if it's a basement or it's a lower part of the whole company where there was like a studio. I'd live there recording and everything. And I was slower then in writing. I was slower in coming up with ideas, but I didn't know that was related to my ADHD. So not knowing how to work around that made me slower, made me not be able to, the process would be slower. Of course, then even the directors would love, they would have loved it to be pop. But then I'm just this kid who's trying to figure themselves out. And so that's how it was. Like we got there, we started recording, and we actually had records, and some we recorded them here. Yeah, actually in this building.
Very spot. Oh,
actually in this building.
Okay.
There was Was it Headbangers? Yeah, it was right here. Yeah. So I used to record there with Moses. Yeah. So. Yeah, so that happens. We would send them the songs that we weren't able to finish. We would send them, but I think I would have appreciated if we would have not done the flights and all that shebang and just did it all here. But they were just like, we need to inspect for what is it called? I'm trying to find that word and I forgot it.
Was it the quality control?
Yes.
Okay.
Quality control, type thing. So because of that, they were just like, you just need to come,
Well, we can watch your ass.
Yeah, but then I was just like, that's a lot of money, but
Yeah.
It was more of maybe I don't know, but
Fail.
yeah, I just felt like it would have made more sense for me to be in a place where I was comfortable. I loved the trips, that's no lie, but I never got to see South Africa until possibly the second trip. That's when we kind of had like a longer time. I had a longer time there. Yeah.
What was the agreement with Sony? What was the deal?
It was a 360 deal of the brand Xtatic, which means that everywhere Xtatic is me as a person, even if it's an advert, even if it's not my music being used, they would still get something from it. Performances, album sales, name it. So that's a 360 deal. And then what else? What else was? We were to do multi-albums, and now the thing is, I'm just got lost. I just got lost. No, multi-albums because that's what I had to produce within the 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened to the music? What happened to the whole working?
I don't know. Like I feel like maybe it was easier to work with South African artists than it was to work with East African artists because we were different locations. They were not even based here, and it was harder to get how things run here. Yeah.
And I think still we don't have a structure or nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. So it was very hard for them. So I feel like they had to really. The strategies that they hoped would work here. I'm just thinking, this is not, it may or may not have happened, but the strategies that were working in South Africa were not working in Kenya or East Africa because it's all of us. It's Keko, it's Rose Muhando, like all of us, our careers got stagnant at some point. So you were just like, are you going to work for us or are you just going to work for where you understand the market, then it felt like being shelved but not being shelved.
Okay.
Like it's like you're not telling me what's the deal. You could drop me. There was a point like I was just like I wish they would just drop me instead of just keeping me there with the hopes that they will figure it out eventually because they keep getting paid. I don't.
There was no advance. Nothing? You ain't get no money? Damn.
They maintained me for like a few months, but it wasn't something that was too, Yeah.
Something to show for. That's what they say. What you gotta show?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly the deal.
How long was the deal? How long for you?
5 years.
5 whole years.
Yeah, and they would decide, like if you don't have an album by them, they can decide to hold you for whatever.
Longer?
Yeah, for longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
But since now you're saying it was a multi-album deal, and I think they released one album, do they still have more of your music that they're gonna release? Or?
I'm not sure. I don't care. Like, I don't care for the music. That's the reason why I promoted it for the sake of, this is what I did, but it wasn't my favorite. It's not my favorite of albums. Like, it's not, I felt like that was not, I hadn't figured myself out, so I was just basically experimenting a lot. Like, there are songs that I love, and there are things that I could change. In fact, when they wanted to release it and we had like a different contract, what I said was, hey, can I re-record some songs? Like, I love them and everything, but some, of course, I'm just like, they don't make sense. I was just a kid. I was just like saying my own thing. Yeah, and some I felt like they were not representing me where I'm at. I mean, it's a project where we recorded in 2012. You're releasing it in 2017, was it? Yeah, or 2018. Those are different times, different mindsets. That's like, nah, it's not me anymore.
That's not a representation of who you were at the moment.
Yes.
Did you have anyone to advise you? Like, all these trips you're taking, you're just a young kid, you're a woman. Do you have someone who's like, yo, X, nah, man, this is how we gonna do it? Or were you just winging it? You were taking their word for it?
I was just winging it. Yeah. So I think we spoke with the producers, but there was so little that, because they were also new there. They didn't understand a lot, but they kind of got to catch up on things like later on when it was not useful. But yes, I was just winging it. Yeah.
Whoa, that's insane.
Yeah.
You're taking those flights by yourself?
Yeah. No, those. I traveled with Mushking, and then I traveled with Renee. She was helping with some choreography. So, yeah. Did I ever travel alone? I don't think so. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about your experience in South Africa. How did this record, first of all, Wild, with AKA and Pretty Ugly, and at that time we don't even know who these people are. We're just like, oh my God, Kenya, South Africa. How did that happen?
Wild. It was wild. It was just more of, they send me whatever the beat, and I was just like, oh, it's good. I want to experiment on this, like rapping in a particular way. Like, it was just good. It inspired me to write, and that was it. And then hit him up. We did the song. I didn't even know who, because Pretty Ugly was my producer's friend, so he would hang around there, and we thought it would be nice if he would be on the hook. And then AKA was suggested by the label, and we were just like, that's cool. He got in there, listened, and was like, wow, this is heat. And then he wrote something, he recorded, and yeah.
Had you guys met before that with AKA?
No.
That was your first meeting?
Yeah.
What was your first encounter with him like?
It was just easy. I don't know, I'm always like, really, when I see people who I have maybe admired, I don't know if I get starstruck or just, it's whatever. Yeah, it's because I'm never even wanted to be, oh, let me take a photo. Yeah, because even there was some point where I've had to be told, do you want to take a photo with this person? It's like, I don't know. It's not like, I always feel like I want to, that moment is for me. It's not for photo ops and shit like that.
I feel you. So talk to me about, your South African experience, getting to see the sites, what the situation was like. How is their market? Did you ever get to perform over there?
Did I ever get to perform? I think I did, like, once. And it was so random. I was just called up on stage. And, who is it? I don't even remember. But I remember it was like some kind of like a pool party or something, and I was called up on stage and I performed like a verse. Yeah, so it was the industry there was cool. Like I love the industry there. Like it's amazing and conducive for hip hop at that time. And I feel like from that's when it started like really growing for them. And it was very favoring. And by then they hadn't implemented the, is it 90-10 rule where 90% their music and 10% foreign music? Yeah, they hadn't. So my music was able to just like go all the way to charts and do well.
And they knew you was Kenyan?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, because like
I don't think so. I feel like because
if they did though.
No, like because it hadn't been implemented.
Okay.
So some people kind of knew. It's just like maybe they thought that I was half Kenyan, half
South African.
Yeah.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into a short commercial break,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get back, of course, with this conversation. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Kingship Podcast, hanging out with the one and only Xtatic. We're having fun on this podcast. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, fam, I don't know what you're waiting on. Already so far, conversation in Mekwafiti. So get on there, subscribe to the channel. Of course, share this with your homies so that they can also catch up with you. And a massive shout out to Amor Wines for the support. Massive shout out to you. We're thankful. Thankful also to Trans Sneakers. They got me swaggy. They got me swaggy. We like that. We like that. We like that a lot. So yes, subscribe, and then we're finna continue with this conversation. All right, part 2. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the South African experience, you're there, you've recorded with AKA, you've recorded with Pretty Ugly, you know, you're doing, like, you did a show, you have a couple of records, but they're not really getting to us Kenyans, right? What was happening in the background for you? Like, what kind of conversations are you having with your management throughout this whole thing?
I feel like they were the first year, like 2012. They were actually trying to push, because of course I heard the records in the stations. They were doing good, you know, for a hip hop artist. They were doing good, especially at a time where radio was just you know, like ukipenya, you feel like. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, especially in your own country.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then I felt like things started slowing down. Maybe people thought, you know, the strategies that they thought were working or would work were not. Or maybe they had used, I don't know. I actually do not know what was happening. It was just me emailing them. Now in the background, it's me emailing them. What's happening? Oh, we're coming up with a strategy. Oh, what's happening? Oh, we're coming up with a strategy. And I'm just like, okay, can we just release it already? Like, because I'm not earning from this, and I should be earning from this. I don't have a side job. By then I hadn't gotten into working because I work online. I do writing and whatnot, and voiceover jobs. But I hadn't gotten into doing that, so I was not earning. So basically, nothing. Like, even if I had a side job, it was one of those like really temporary, like very one-off things, that would sustain me and everything. And then, you know, Mushking was there, and, you know, he was trying to like really carry us, like, you know, with what he was doing. So, which was sad now, because my mom started falling sick. You know, she started falling sick in 2014, and she was also not in a good place anyway, like, because we were from, I don't even know where. I don't even know where to place us, because we're not middle class. We're not whatever.
You're like in between middle class.
No,
and
we're poverty. we're the poors. No, actually, but there's so many people are the poors and they don't know. I feel like middle class just sounds good to say, but we were not like that. Like any middle. We were middle class before, like when I was younger, but we were not anymore. So she was selling clothes. She had like a small boutique. Yeah, so the situation was not that good. So me getting let down that way, and now her falling sick, it got to a point where I was literally crying on email, just like, yo, I'm not even asking from money from you guys. I'm just asking that you guys just please work for me. Like, please get me shows where I can earn. Like, just please, you have all this power to do that, but you're not. And it was just, okay, next month next week somebody's, it's just like a lot. And I was just like really losing hope at that point, especially in 2000, just losing so much hope with music. With, like, I'd cry every day seeing my mom in that position, and knowing that I could help. Like, what would have helped her would have been better healthcare, knowing that is not, you're not able to provide that because simply you can't afford it, is the worst place to be. It's like, this is preventable. People get to live longer with HIV and everything, even if she's, at a point where maybe because she's of the stigma and she's feeling down because of it, like that's the reason why she's not getting better. Still, better healthcare would actually help her. Yeah. So it was like really hard trying to even be creative at that point. But I think by the end of 2014, I had met Kobe Kiambu, who was my manager then. He's a brilliant, still very good friend of mine. And he was just like, you know what, X, just do a mixtape. Instead of just depending on them to release the album, just do a mixtape. And that's exactly what we did. So that fueled me. I think just trying to provide for my mom and trying to, just be there for her financially is what just propelled me to just do the mixtape, because I was just like, I guess I'll get something from this. I hope I'll get some. And I did get, something from it, from it being, taken up by a show, TV sync, to just doing my own shows on the release and just getting invited to do. That really sustained me that time after the doing the mixtape. And then, but it wasn't, when I released it in March, and then a month later, my mom died. Yeah, because you're thinking, okay, all these things that were sustaining me were just sustaining me after she was gone, and it wouldn't, it didn't help her situation at all, because now we had relocated her to Kisii, just go back to where things are not as expensive, but still the healthcare there is not.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I feel you. Now, being in this situation, did you ever think about legal action? Can you actually?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I have spoken to many lawyers from Kenya. Like, they were not helping me. They would not help me. I don't know if it was because of money. I spoke to a lot of them, and I felt like there was more. And it wasn't until like one of them pointed out. And this was just a random, especially the entertainment lawyers were just not doing it for me. And this other one who I got was just, what type of lawyer was he? There's this word, I can't remember, but he was not in entertainment, but he was just like, so I've seen the problem here is that the jurisdiction is in South Africa, so you cannot sue them from here. You have to go to South Africa to sue them from there. And then Rouge the rapper from SA hooked me up with her sister. And she helped me a lot. I owe her so much. Like, even right now, I always feel like I owe her so much. And she just sat down with counsel and they went through it. They went through the emails and they were just like, X, you have a good case. You really have a great case. Because here you're on email, you have all these emails going back and forth asking for progress, and nothing is happening. Like, it's just promises and promises and promises, to a point where you actually even expressed how depressed you were. So that was, harming you mentally, emotionally, and that can be presented in court. However, now, you suing a South African company as a foreigner, the court fees were just ridiculous.
I feel you.
Yeah, so
you let it go.
Yeah, but we did come to a deal of some sort, because I was just like, okay, if that cannot happen, then what can we do? we can do this, that, or the other. We could ask them to just release you, because at the end of the day, they could decide after the 5 years not to release you because you do not have an album out. So let's just do it in a way that we are sealing, like, after this you're not getting anything from me, blah blah blah, and everything. Yeah.
So you got new terms? Did you have to sign a new contract?
Yeah, we started a new contract, and they were like, oh, let's just release the album because we spent so much money on it and we are not getting it back. And I'm just like, it's not my fault. It's surely not my fault. Yeah, you are the people to do the distribution and whatnot. So why is it my fault? So anyway, yeah, we're gonna release the album and then let you go and blah blah.
That was that. Yeah. You were happy to leave.
I was very happy. I was relieved, like, because I knew, like, now I'm on my own, but it's better. At least being on my own, I can do things my own way. Yeah.
Dope. Now, someone who is very vocal online and everywhere is you, right? And you always speak about your mom. You always talk about how that whole process was just draining and everything. Considering how much stigma HIV and AIDS still has in this country, what is it that motivates you to actually just be bold and open about it? Like, yo, hey, my mom got this, and she actually passed away from this.
I've always been an open book. But of course not been as loud as I am the past 4-5 years. If I don't believe in retaining information for myself. You know, you can retain it for whatever reason, because if somebody pokes on it, and it will hurt you. But I'm always like, why retain? Maybe I'm just a loud ass, you know. But
take it as it comes.
Yes, but it will never affect me. It's like, oh, so you know, and so you'll come online and talk about, even the day that some Twitter person, you know, came and said, oh, you know, her mother died of AIDS, blah blah blah, and I was just like, that's a fact. That's not, but you know, the intention or the tone there was to ha.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, stigma. It had to do more with stigma. It's more like, no, I'm accepting of, you know, and so what has it done for you? You know, you've laughed, you made those people who are just
laughing with you.
Like those people who are just in the same mindset laugh, but what has it done for you? Really? Nothing. So that's how I look at so many things about my life, because it's like, oh, you don't have to tell people about blah blah blah, people will use this against you. I'm always like, trust me, I don't care. So you're gonna talk about, oh, she speaks about sex, or she cusses a lot, or she whatever. Yeah, and so, like, what are you gonna do? Slut shame me? What are you gonna do? Say, you know, it's like, oh, you're a mom. Like, yeah, I am this. I am that kind of a person. If I feel like you're telling me you shouldn't say this, I will say it. It's like, you shouldn't do this, and it being tied to a misogynistic kind of thing, I'll do it. It's like my body, maybe even my body doesn't want to do, but my mind is just like, no, we are not. My body's just meant to, and my mind is just meant to rebel. Anything that I feel is just from a misogynistic background, you know, patriarchy, society, kind of whatever. Every time I feel like that is the only reason I am not doing something, I do it, even if I don't want to do it.
I feel you.
It's just like,
it's
nah.
within you.
It's like, nah, let's just do it just because. Yeah.
I feel you. Now, you've mentioned about being a mom.
Yeah.
How's your experience been so far? You got 2 kids, right?
Yeah. It's been alright. Like, I got my first very young, 18. Yeah, and that's the reason why, you know, like, when I tell you, it's like, I have a daughter who's turning 11. It's like, oh, so how old are you? It's like, nah, chill. I got her when I was like 18. So, which was, if it wasn't for my mom, my goodness, I would have just, I don't know, like, she did a lot. She did a lot in helping me, you know, care for that kid, because I was literally a kid taking care of a kid. And my son, goodness, he's a handful. A handful.
Like, no man on IG.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, they teach me a lot. But I get help from my my housekeeper, my house manager, who is amazing. She's so amazing. I cannot even. She and the ones who have been there before have helped me a lot, and my sister. They've helped me a lot because I feel we never talk about it a lot, but women who suffer from mental health issues are not the same as like the neurotypical, like if you're a neurodivergent and you're a mother, it's a different experience. Like there are times where you will fail at doing the normal. It's like, this is so normal to do, like why are you not doing it? It's like you don't know how hard it is for us to do some basic things. Like even when we're alone with the kids, we'll often feel like, I failed because I didn't, let them sleep on time or feed them on time, or I got distracted and I couldn't do, I almost, like all of those things. And we have to forgive ourselves and know that if you have mental health issues or illnesses, you need help. You need a lot of support, and you need a lot of people just cheering you on. And it's not the same. Your experience is not going to be the same, and you're going to see another mother and be like, oh, you're so perfect. You prepare things on time. You adhere to every appointment, doctor's appointment. You're so perfect. While right there, just like, I missed this appointment. I didn't do this. You just need to stop being hard on yourself and know that you are not alone, and it's not laziness, because that's what it likes being labeled as. Laziness, and all that. You're careless. You're what? No, it's just like you have. Some people have things that put them at an advantage to do things in a particular way.
I feel you. Are you as vocal with them? Do you teach them to be vocal?
I don't know. My kids are loud, so I think I don't even have to teach them. They just are loud. They're just exactly like me. But yes, my daughter is very vocal. Like if she doesn't want to do something, she'll say, but Mom, I don't want to do this. And then they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Cool.
Do you talk to them about, like, for example, your daughter? I know 10 is pretty young, but I feel like it's also
preteen.
Yeah, I mean, it's preteen. You're getting to understand things more than a toddler would or a kid would. Do you have conversations with her about mental health?
Yeah, I do, a lot. She understands so much. Like, I don't even have to tell her. She understands a lot. She knows she has anxiety. She calls them jitters, and she asks for hugs when she has jitters. Like, she's like, I'm having the jitters. Can I get a hug? Can I, and all that. She like, you could literally see, like, how the anxiety can make her be sometimes, like, you see it.
Antsy?
Yeah.
Agitated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes she can be very, and also, like, even with school and all that, if you try to teach her and you're harsh, she will just, yeah, so you just have to be, like, really gentle with her in teaching her things, even when she doesn't get something. It's like, oh, let's go back, let's learn this again and again until you get it, and find out ways of how to teach her. And of course, now being in school has, of course, now you meet all these teachers who just know one way. You shout, just do, yeah. It's like, no, you're not going to do that. We're going to move out of, and I've done that before. I've moved my child just because of the way they handled her was just not good for her. Yeah.
That's dope. I think it's kind of like managing the situation also. Have you ever had a moment where both of you were having downtimes, like in the same household? Who's there for the other person?
Of course, I have to be there for, so a lot of times, but of course I have to be there for her, and the same way I'm there for my friends or anybody who contacts me and needs kind of somebody to talk to. So yeah, there has been those times.
Are you ever scared that your kids are gonna grow up one day and just catch you online telling niggas fuck you?
What?
Or are you ever scared that one day your kids are gonna get online and just see you in your rawest
I don't have a problem with that. Like I never, because I've had that conversation with not many people, but men especially, where, oh, so what if kids come and see you in lingerie or half naked or whatever online? It's like, and so what? You know, like, because at the end of the day, I'm my own person. They're their own people. Like I cannot. We have to stop. We have to detach. It's always with mothers that we tell them, what if? But with dads, if they're flexing without their shirts, you know, muscles dripping in oil, nobody tells them, what if your daughter? Nobody tells them that. But with women, it's just like, what if your son? What if they get bullied at school? It's like, yes, I'm going to go to their parents and ask them, what are you teaching these kids? Like, you're being a bad teacher to these kids, you know, in the sense of you're shaming another person for being a particular way. So I'm never really worried. Even if I was naked, even if I was doing porn, I wouldn't even think about it. Like, oh, they're gonna see me and see. No, it's like I was doing sex work, and sex work is work. Like, the end. Like, you're not. What are you saying, kid? You want to move out? Is he trying to not live in this roof? Yeah.
That the sex work paid for?
Yeah. It's just like, but man, it's what? It's what? Who said it's that way? Like, I'm just like, who said it's that way? Or why? Does it affect? Does it harm? Does it, what? It's with my consent. So what? You know, like, and so, yeah.
Have you started having sex conversations with your daughter? Because I mean, with the rising cases in teenage pregnancy, and like, I feel like sex education is something that should also be taught hella young, because now teenagers are also getting curious a lot earlier than I guess back in the day. I'll say back from my day. I'm not that old, but like, I personally did not engage in none of that stuff until like college, literally.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, I was like a good
kid.
Girl. You know, people don't believe me when I say I'm a good girl. Or what?
It's the vibes. It's the energy you exude.
Back to serious matters. Have you ever like found yourself in a position to actually have that conversation?
Yeah. Even like recently, it's been very recent. She, even joined some club or I don't know. I think it was an event that they were attending every weekend to just teach them about this, and I would ask her questions and I would add on to it, things like periods and because we are only taught pads and they don't know all this many things that so from there, like, there was a lot that we spoke about.
That's dope. Are you scared of her getting into the dating field?
Yeah.
You got that's
the only reason I would be is if she meets a narcissist. That's the only scary thing for me, because teenage pregnancy, that don't scare me. It's like, do you want to keep it? You don't want to keep it. Let's go.
It's whatever you want.
Yeah, it's like, this is what a baby is, a lot of responsibility, and this is what you have to sacrifice, blah, 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 blah. So you still want to keep it, and, me and Mary stops.
Mary can stop that.
Yeah, but I'm all for any, like, women having. I'm pro-choice, and pro-choice means I respect your choices. Yeah. So people think, it's pro-choice is. I don't know how people look at pro-choice. Pro-choice is just simply, I respect your choices. You want to keep the baby, I respect it.
Yeah.
It's not pro-abortion. It's just pro-choice. I'm pro-abortion too, like, because I feel like if you you should be able to get a safe abortion.
Yeah.
Women should be able to have that, whatever to choose, that chance to choose for themselves, because it is a lot of responsibility. It is a lot of responsibility.
A baby shifts your whole world, like
a lot.
Everything else just changes.
Yeah, so all these people go like, but that's another being. It's like, but have you adopted somebody? Have you fed a child? You talk, you stay talking, but you've never actually participated in taking a child off the streets. you know, and it's like, that's not my way. Then let the mother choose.
Yeah.
Because you could talk like that and somebody would go and throw away the baby, and you're not gonna adopt the same baby. So why are you talking?
Yeah.
Like, let them choose. Yeah.
I feel you. Short commercial break, fam. When we get back, we're gonna be talking, of course, more mental health, and then we're gonna switch things up. We're gonna switch things up a little bit and talk some more hip hop as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back to this episode of the Kingship Podcast. I cannot stress this enough. Fam, subscribe. Literally, I feel like making a song and just dropping it every break for you to subscribe, like, drop me a comment. Apparently, YouTube is like one of the worst social media platforms because your interaction is actually what makes them post your video to more people. Yeah, and a lot more people are watching my videos who haven't subscribed to the Ruby V channel.
Shame.
Shame on you.
Shame.
You know? Get on there.
Shame. Subscribe. You know the vibes.
Exactly. Subscribe, like, drop a comment, share, all that good stuff. All right, then. Getting back into the conversation with the one and only X, we've talked about a lot of life stuff, even the music. Yeah. Let's talk about now hip hop. How you feeling the scene is looking right now?
It's looking good. I'm loving the people who are coming up. I'm loving the growth in not only like the industry, but even in the content. Yeah, like people are spreading their wings and are able to express themselves differently and seeing that, hey, you know what, I don't have to limit myself to what is trendy to say, to speak on. You know, I'm not limiting myself to, what are they called? Buzzwords. Yeah, you know, like I love that I'm hearing new things from people, you know, and that's part of what has even inspired me. You know, I feel like, you know, I'm not cutting short what has inspired. I'm just explaining it. It's part of what has made me feel like it's now conducive enough for me. It's like whatever I would have, because I released stuff in the past where I was just like, if I release this right now, it would still work. Because I'm that kind of a person who, yes, I do believe that I did stuff that was, ahead of its time. Yeah. So, because I listened to some shit, I'm just like, yo.
Yeah, they're still banging, man.
This is banging.
Yeah.
The content, everything about it is banging. So it's conducive for me, and that's the reason why, especially even as a female hip hop rapper, you know, like right now people can hear the wordplay, the rhyme schemes, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say, and everything. Like they can hear it and be able to decipher it, and not we're not doing like, oh yeah, you're just rapping because you're just rhyming the last words. Nah, it's just like it's very complex. Yeah, how I do it and how somebody else.
Gotta get into the rhyme. Yeah, figure out what is happening within the rhyme. Yeah, man. Yeah. Listen, I might drop bars on my next record or something. I don't know. What about the women in the game? I feel like right now there's a lot more female rappers in the game as compared to probably when you were starting off.
Yeah.
How you looking? Like, do you have your eye on anybody on the scene? I mean, don't say Valerie Modani. We already know y'all friends. Yeah. So like somebody else that you're watching.
There are a lot. You know, Mandy Kabaya, Monsky. There are so many. Like Silverstone, Steph, Unruly. Yeah, like we's a lot, and I'm loving that. Like people coming up, and I even saw some new. I don't know if she's new, but she did the challenge, the one that's going on.
The rap challenge.
Yeah.
We're waiting on your verse. Neymar. Yeah. Neymar.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I loved her verse. So I'm loving that they're getting the attention that I feel like it's more of getting their attention that they deserve. Because I keep on adding artists into my world, into like knowing them, you know, that's what we need even because there was and there still is this ego of people not wanting to find out, like how are you discovering this artist right now? Like even as an artist, even as an industry, even as a fan, like look for them the way you look for you know, a foreign artist or other artists from different places. Like you need to know these people, because that's the only way we're going to grow the industry. The more we are getting promoted, the better, you know, the more we're getting listened to, the better. So it's quite a conducive environment for all of us. And just record and do more and study and grow. You know, it's like, yes, you can rap, grow from doing one, challenge yourself to doing something else. You can't always be doing the same thing. Even if you're doing the same thing over, just find a way to make for there to be progress even within what you're doing. Yeah.
As a woman in the game, I mean, I think women are disadvantaged in a lot of positions, right? But then it seems to be spoken about more by the women in the game. Like, you know, last year or the year before that, when Janice came out with the whole story and put that nigga on blast. And then, you know, recently with the station, right, when they were trying to like kind of make light of the situation and speak to the woman. So I wouldn't say like Ivy is a woman in the game, but she has faced what I call some woman shit, because like all this stuff is almost unique to a female or a woman. Are there any negative experiences that you have had to go through while in the game that you're just like,
I've gone through a lot of, you know, bad experiences, and it's not only from being underestimated or not played or not listened to. I've gone through sexual harassments, you know, even when I was in SA, this big artist put me in a situation where it was just, I never spoke about it much, but it was just really, I don't know what better word to use than rape, you know? And it hits you later on, and you're just like, this person intentionally got you drunk. And when you were blacked out, this happened. When you were not yourself, you hadn't consented to that. Like, that's what hit me like later on. And you know, you come to see it, and it's just like when you want to speak out about it, it's it's just clout. Oh, she wants to get clout now because this is a bigger artist. And that's the reason I was just like, I don't know, I'm gonna speak about it, but in a way that this happened to me and it can happen to anybody else, especially. And it's so sad that it can happen. You know, like yesterday I was having a conversation about how guys don't, like, they can drink until they pass out and just sleep, and that us, we have to drink and be very cautious. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't, that shouldn't be the advice. Oh, drink kidogo because this might happen. That shouldn't be the advice. It's like, just leave me the fuck alone, you know? And which is what I expressed in the video that I did after the station shit happened, where in my raps I was just, leave me the fuck alone, leave my clothes alone, you know, leave my wholeness, like, leave me alone, you know. I've not consented to this. If I'm not going to consent to this when I'm sober, when I'm drunk, that's not consent. Like, a lot of people, and I'm glad that women get to raise their voices and say, and some of course hold back because of the backlash, because it takes a toll on you. It does. As much as you've spoken out, and now people are treating you like this, that. And, you know, Janice got to, I think a couple of months later, a couple of months ago, or weeks, I'm not sure, she dropped something and she was talking about how the industry, you know, spat her out, like chewed and spat her out. And it's true, because it's very brave. And, you know, sometimes I hate using the word brave, but it's very brave to just come out and talk about that. And then now the people who are now not associating with you because, oh, you said this and I felt some type of way, and it's just bad. Because we experience it, and then when you're speaking out, it's all clout. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And that's why I don't like it when there are people who undo like the work that we've done for victims to be able to, especially as a woman. Why would you play around with GBV? Why would you don't?
Yeah.
Even if you're feeling some type of way, work on it. If it happened, then come out with your fucking chest and say it happened, and not just retract your statement because, oh, I was drunk. I would trust me. I'm one to just be really mad about that situation because you already see the conditions that we face online. Yeah, you shouldn't be so. You're a person of privilege, first of all, to be saying that and be able to retract and no, this is damage control. I'm always not for that. It pisses me off when I see that.
Now, speaking of saying it with your chest, I'm gonna put your ass on the spot. This unnamed person. What? You the one who talked about get balls, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this unnamed rapper. Yeah. This is somebody that we know.
Yeah, he's
are we naming names?
We're not naming names.
Why not? Isn't that the whole?
It's
call out with your chest.
Call out with your chest is when you're say this happened with your chest, if you want to say it. But I'm just saying it because I'm speaking out on experiences that I have faced. I may not want to name names now. I probably will in the future. But of course there's that. Of course there's that fear of everybody and I don't. For me, who's coming out with an album, it's I don't want that to be the spotlight of the album. It's just I'm doing a debut album and that's it. It's not. I'm not trying to tag on someone and get followers for my album release because it's very unfortunate. Again, that I have to really think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the question that I have is about okay, we talk about these things and that's great. We get online and we cancel people, that's great. But then after cancel culture, what's really happening? I mean, guys lost their jobs. That doesn't mean that was the end of GBV or misogyny or chauvinism. It happened online. Yeah. Is there a hotline that people can call that, you know what, if this happens to you, fam, call this number, there's help. There's something that's happening. After cancel culture, basically, what are we doing?
I feel like we should actively keep on deplatforming abusers. I do not have a problem with that because they have actively kept on abusing people while gaining more power, more social power. They have people who went on to tell. They're still getting endorsements and whatnot. Yeah. Every time I see that, it's just people talk about cancel culture a lot, and it's not like victims even get anything out of it. You're not centering it around victims. You're not helping them after that. What have we done for victims?
Yeah.
Many of them suffer career losses for just one person. This person goes around and abuses or harasses or whatever. So many people, 10 women, they all lose careers. They all, all of that. Their names are drugged in the mud and everything like that happens, and they even change their careers to different careers to something that they don't even want to do, or they stay silent. They lose a lot for you to be thinking, oh, what about this person, what if it's he's gained a lot. He's been gaining a lot from stepping on people. He's been gaining a lot from doing this to people, from silencing victims. So what is this sympathy we're giving them? Why? I'm all for deplatforming them and actively just showing people that there are consequences. Showing people you just can't get away with this. You are so I don't care about, oh yeah, sorry. Okay, fine, sorry. You feel like this, you feel like you did this and it was wrong, blah, 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 and it was harmful. What are you doing? You're just going to say sorry to the internet and live your life. And unfortunately, people are just going to be oh my goodness, he was sorry and that. No, that's not enough. You should be actively trying to
even yourself as an abuser, for me, do something for the victim. Whether it's monetary, whether I don't care, just center your sorry shouldn't just be sorry. For me, it's just those are just words.
Yeah.
There should be something that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I can't speak so largely about what they should or can do, because at the end of the day, there is a lot that they should do. First of all, they should get the platform. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. You were one of the people who were really championing against like what happened with the station, and fighting for Ivy come through. Like Noni was just like, yo, you want to sue, let's do it. And then of course the station lost revenue, sponsors pulled out. Literally, I was in a meeting yesterday and they were like, what, where? We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is actually happening. But has there been any action for Ivy? Like, has anyone been in touch with her?
That's exactly what. That's why I talk about centering all this, this rage, like centering it, on the victim, because what are we doing for her? People raised money, or so there was that initiative to raise money or to ask the station or whoever, the person, like, to try to help her. But does anyone follow through on it? That's usually my question, because we suffer a great loss of physical, mental, financial, so there should be more being done. Like, we should strive to, I should strive, you should strive, everyone should strive to do more for the victims.
Definitely. Talk to me about your mental health journey. That is also something that you're super vocal about. You've talked about some very, very deep, grave issues online, publicly, openly. I mean, you have said that you're an open book. Can you talk to me about maybe the first time that you realized that there was a problem, and then now, going through that, through the years, the ups and the downs, the relapses, managing it?
Yeah, possibly as a teenager, I just realized that something was just, I wasn't like everybody else. And I think maybe I'm lazy, because that's the tags or maybe I'm just too much. Maybe my anxiety is not even, it's just stage fright. And then you come to learn that there's a lot. And then when I try to get help, we're told, what I was told was, I feel like what everyone experiences, you're told that's just normal with people. You just need to do this A, B, C, but that's not the thing. That's not how you can manage some things. There are ways, that there are structures that you could try to manage your mental. So it's very important to actually know yourself, be very self-aware, and it's very important that we embrace mental health in a different way. Not be like, oh, I'm a mental health champion and you're just out here doing the least or the most, which is deterring, like, everything, or undoing everything that we've done. We just can't do that. You can't be a mental health this and you're out there being ableist. It just beats the purpose. So there's also more to be done with, and that's why I'm usually very vocal, because I don't think we understand mental health illness the way it should be understood. And yes, we are learning, which is a good thing. And we can excuse the fact that right now people knowing how to handle different situations, different illnesses, to get diagnosed, even though it's still a problem. Like, people go undiagnosed, so it's still a huge challenge that we possibly have to.
How do you manage your situation?
How do I manage my situation? Time for myself, self-care, knowing what works for me and what doesn't, knowing how to get around some things that are hard for me, and letting go of things that I cannot handle, because sometimes we may want to, especially me being very competitive, or being that person who's competitive with just myself. I may try to do something, but it's deteriorating. Like, for me mentally. Yeah, so that's basically what I do. Self-care, trying to understand myself more and how I'm handling a particular situation, and trying to understand others, you know, like others who are suffering from, you know, because in that way I found that I get to understand myself even more. Yeah.
Trigger warning. I know you've spoken about attempts also on social. Do you have even like a particular reason? I think there've been multiple, if from your tweets or from my understanding. Do you have any particular reason or something that actually drives you and tips you over the edge and you're just like, you know what, I cannot?
I don't. I sometimes I don't know my triggers. Sometimes I do. Like I'm very aware. Like online, I tried to get out. There was a time last year, I'd do this thing of just being deactivating my account for like 2 weeks and then a week getting back. Because by then, just consuming a lot of things can really be detrimental. And you know, even how people speak to me, how people view me. I've learned how to. One thing that was a trigger is sometimes I would try to control things that are out of my control, and that would upset me when I couldn't get them, you know. And just being me, when I feel like I'm being limited to not being myself, it just stresses me. It used to stress me, but nowadays I have my boundaries. Now I have to set boundaries. Like no. This is not where you are going to come in. You're not going to come past this line. This is just me to handle it the way I want to handle it. And knowing, you know, when to intervene or when to just do something. And preparing myself. If it's something that will spike up my anxiety. It's like, do you really want to do this? Will it spike up your anxiety? Okay, then can you back away, or will you still do it, you know, regardless?
How then do you love yourself out of that situation?
I just look at the amazing being that I am, things that I can change, things that I can't change. If I can't change it, let me love it. I will love it I will love my couchy. I will love my body. I will love my awkwardness. I will love my everything. It just goes into, even if I will not love it, I will accept it, and it's just part of me. And if I can't do anything about it, then it's just me.
That's dope.
I
mean, we've had a nice ass, long ass conversation. Please don't do another interview until 5 years. For the next 5 years, you gotta get through me. You special. You my homegirl. So definitely giving you this chance. I rarely do interviews because sometimes I just have nothing to say, and if I don't have anything to say, I don't feel like I should say it. Like, but this is, you know, you've always been very introspective and I guess it's always a different approach. If somebody, I feel like they have a different approach with their interviews, I'm gonna be there. Let's do it.
You heard me. I'm special.
That's
what's up.
Yes, ma'am.
That's fact.
Thank you for making time. I really do appreciate this conversation. It was nice. We covered everything, I think, that could have been covered. And if you've been asking where Xtatic has been at, there's she at, right here.
I'm always there. I don't know why people keep on asking. I had mixtape last year, an EP the previous year, and then 2 years down, I had a mixtape. It's just like, oh, where did you go after this? Like, no, it's you who needs to catch up. Like, if you're gonna look for me, like, unfortunately on radio, it's only specific stations that you're gonna hear. In her show.
Cause bitch, I go hard.
She always supporting.
That's
so
me.
I'm happy that you do support. You know, a lot of people like who wouldn't get hurt.
I try, man. I just figured you have a platform, use it. You know, just wild out, go crazy. You couldn't lose nothing, right?
This is good.
Cheers.
This is good.
It's that Moscato, baby.
This is good.
All right then, fam. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Kingship Podcast. There's other dope episodes, of course, for you to check out. Make sure that you do that. Subscribe. We're gonna make a song for that subscribe thing.
Subscribe. Yeah, you know the vibe. Subscribe. Hey, yeah, you know the vibe.
That's what's up. Hey, listen. If that didn't motivate you to subscribe, I don't know what will, fam. If you enjoyed this conversation, of course, give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment about what you enjoyed. We've spoken about a whole lot. I think it was like an entire 360.
Ooh.
So you can pick and choose whatever part, made you happy, made you sad, made you mad. Let's have a conversation. Agree to disagree, not imposing your opinion on the other person or the other way around. Just have a nice, cordial conversation, okay? Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Follow the Kingship Podcast across social media platforms. Okay, not across, on Instagram at the Kingship Podcast. The title will be right here. At the Kingship Podcast is where we're at Just Ruby V, at official
Xtatic.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna catch you in the next episode. Stay safe, sanitize, and wear your mask. Peace.